Greetings, fellow captains, and welcome back to another episode of World of Warships with the Hive Hound. Now, I'm going to apologise because obviously this is slightly delayed and there's no game audio because, well, as you know, we've been very busy, but we're going to take our first look at the Tier 7 Premium Odin, or the current campaign ship. Now, we don't have sound because, unfortunately, I didn't realise that I hadn't plugged one cable in to my new setup. So, although we have crystal clear, high quality 4K footage, we've got absolutely no sound whatsoever. And, yeah, unfortunately, the video has been delayed because, well, with kids, I've been quite busy, as you all probably know. So sorry for the delay, but yeah, hopefully we'll get back on track and speed things up with the new premiums. If you want to check out the Gallant on Mondays, was it Mondays? Friday's live stream. No, Monday's live stream. So if you go back a couple of days, you will see we take the Gallant out for our second match and have an absolutely amazing game. I will apologise if you do manage to hear a little bit of baby crying in the background, but little lady's not overly happy at the moment. So right off the bat here, we've seen our destroyer is heading in for so our cruisers come over as well. So we're like, right, okay, yeah, let's push up and let's give him some support. So as you can see, one of the enemy destroyers has already been spotted, which is the Benson. There is a mass as well, so this is a 2 versus 1 scenario for our destroyer. So we're going to try and give him a bit of help. We're going to we've got our HE loaded, and there we score. Okay, it's a German ship. The accuracy is not amazing, but we do manage to score a couple of hits on the enemy mass. And the enemy mass has stopped, so we're going to take another shot at him, and yeah, of course, he does start backing up. We do still score another little bit of damage, but unfortunately not enough, and that is our destroyer down. We preemptively expected some torpedoes to be fired at us, so we started backing up, and yes, they did. They sailed past us fairly harmlessly, and that's as the Tirpitz comes into range. Now, unfortunately, the cruiser, which, alright, at the time when those two destroyers were taking on our destroyer, the Tirpitz was behind a rock. It would have been the perfect time for the cruiser to push, but he decided not to, and he is now ducked himself away behind an island using the island cover. So this has put us in a bit of a predicament because we know there's two destroyers right on you. We're in a battleship, and there we go, as expected, more torpedoes sailing our way. We put up our hydroacoustic search because we absolutely expected this to happen. And yeah, because we had that advance notice, to be honest with you, we were pushing around and we were going to turn anyway. But yeah, it just so happens that our plan just completely sailed right around their torpedoes. So again, the Tirpitz is off out there in the distance, so we're going to start engaging him. We're going to keep HE loaded because, well, they're destroyers. If we're going to kill destroyers, HE is definitely going to be what we want to have loaded. And at this point, I just thought, about sod it. Like, I can't retreat. Running away from two destroyers is not going to work. Running away from two destroyers really isn't going to help me. You know, I am in a battleship, but I do have fast firing, for a battleship at least, very fast firing guns. With, I think my reload's down to about 16 seconds. And our hydroacoustic search is still running, so let's just go for it. So we spot those torpedoes and very easily dodge them. Top tip for battleship players in general who don't have hydroacoustic search: don't sail in straight lines. This is what happens. You just sail around their torpedoes, and they harmlessly pass by. So you can see we've got the mass. So we dodged the mass's torpedoes, and the Benson has also flung his torpedoes out, and yeah, completely passed us by harmlessly. So we can see the Benson is coming in for a suicide run. We hit the mass, finishing him off. We launch our torpedoes at the Benson, and yep, surprise motherfucker, get fucked, he's gone. And to be honest with you, this game basically continues to be quite slow. It's just us against the Tirpitz. We have a little duel with him and sail over to the other side of the map, trying to chase down the last bit of damage. So we're not going to bother watching it. It's dull, but that I just thought was quite a good point because it highlighted, you know, well, I took on 2 destroyers in the Odin, and having those faster firing guns and the sonar, does give you that flexibility. It does allow you to, it gives you options to push, whereas in most other battleships you probably couldn't. And having those faster reloading lower caliber guns just gives you those options, and that's what premium ships are usually about. It's about giving you that flexibility, that freedom, that slightly different way of playing ships. Like if I tried pulling that in the Bismarck, I probably would have been dead. That Benson would have probably have suicide talked me, and he probably would have got the better of us. Start of this match, as you can see straight off the bat, there is a Iowa sailing broadside, and this is where one of the weaknesses of the Odin are, because we only have the 370 or 340 millimeter guns. Someone's going to correct me in the comments below, but because we have these small caliber guns, you can get broadside battleships sailing to you, and yeah, although you will do, you know, we've done reasonable amount of damage, 14,000 damage from 2 salvos, 19,000 from the 3, about 22,000 from the 3. You know, you're not going to get that knockout punch. It's not a Citadel machine. Whereas, you know, if I'd scored that many hits in a Bismarck or an Iowa, you know, the damage would have been significantly higher. But don't worry, we're going to see a bit more of that Iowa that we originally engaged a bit later, which is going to highlight one of the strengths, another one of the strengths of the ship, at least. So, in true Hivehound fashion, I'm sort of checking out, trying to see what my team are doing. Everyone's sitting back. There's a lot of ships down here, and well, I want to know what the Odin is capable of. And that's when we see a Wichita. So we're going to set off a full volley at him. Yeah, overpens. not a significant amount of damage. So obviously you can see we are getting spammed with HE. But the Wichita is a really dangerous ship. And all German battleships do suffer with issues with getting set on fire, so we're definitely going to focus down this Wichita, get him out of the match before we focus on the other enemies, because at least sitting to our broadside, he's angled a bit now, which should make it easier for us to get some penetrations and not overpen. But yeah, as you see, 5,000 damage from a salvo, although we did score a Citadel on him just now. But we want to get rid of that Wichita, because the Wichita is a really high DPM ship. And if you can get rid of a Wichita early, and it's definitely going to make a big difference to your team. So he does the smart thing. He turns in to bow tank us. And what I decide to do here is, yeah, I'm not gonna penetrate his front, but if I can knock out his guns, that's quite possibly going to force him to move. So we've used our radar because we were expecting to see torpedoes, and that's exactly what we did do. And the Wichita decides he's going to try and ram us. And yeah, not this time, sunshine. And that wasn't actually my main batteries, that was my secondaries that finished him off just a couple of feet from the bow of our ship. So this whole time we've been taking shots from the Iowa and the other cruiser. And as you can see, you know, alright, not an ideal situation to put myself in, but we have tanked quite a lot of damage. and we do have some support now coming in, firing at that York that has been setting us on fire this entire time. As you can see, I've not actually got the choice here, but I'm not going to use the damage repair because there's still a cruiser that can set us on fire, and that's going to be extremely irritating. So we're racking up reasonable amount of damage, 75,000 damage. We have used the repair now to get our gun back up and running, because to be honest with you, after that last salvo from that Iowa, I thought, yeah, we're probably not going to be too long for this world, so let's deal as much damage as we can, as quickly as we can possibly can. And there we go, we take out the York, picking up our second kill, but we are down to 16,000 hit points, or 17,000 because we have used our damage control. So as you can see, we're 7.5 kilometers out from an Iowa. It's full broadside, and yeah, we're just not getting those big citadel hits as we I believe that's a Sinop that just fired at us as well. So we're in a bit of a crossfire, but we're turning in, we're trying to angle against the two, and this kind of shows where one of the strengths of the Odin is. It's close quarters with other battleships. You don't want to try fighting multiple ships at one time, because you can see when we were fighting the York, the Wichita, and the Iowa, it hurt us, and it hurt us a lot. But one-on-one, when you can bow tank, this ship is really, really resistant. So we're going to turn, fire off our torpedoes. It's not the same torpedoes as the Scharnhorst. You've got the 4 torpedoes like you do on the Tirpitz, and we absolutely hammer that Iowa, putting us up to 125,000 damage and picking up our 3rd kill. Now, yeah, you expect this match to be over pretty soon. We're down to 3,000 hit points, and I was right, it was a Sinop that's decided to come over and try pushing us, and yep, hit us again, took us down to almost 2,000. Now it's at this point I'm like, right, okay, if I run away from this guy, I'm not gonna win. I'm gonna die, and chances are we're gonna die anyway. So if we're gonna die, let's cause as much damage as we possibly can. And we get our repair up, we get ourselves back up to just under 10,000 hit points, and that is a full health Sinop. And although we do have a cruiser in support, he's quite far back. I don't think he's going to be particularly effective. Lucky for us, the only ships that have worse accuracy than the Germans is the Russians, and his salvos, quite fortunately, miss us. We're going to keep turning in. We take another couple of thousand damage, but the Sinop's got a pretty slow reload as well. So this will give us a bit of an opportunity to rack up a bit more damage before we eventually die. And we lost one of our front turrets, which is definitely not preferable when you're trying to bow tank a Sinop. Now, Sinop is being awfully brave and awfully lucky, in all fairness, because he's just sitting there broadside, because he's like, easy kill. Like, I've only got to hit the guy once, he's dead. So we do the smart thing and we decide to start targeting his guns, but again, German accuracy, that's not really going to go our way, and our heal comes back up. So we're going to start healing, and now our friendly cruiser is slowly but surely getting engaged in the fight, and setting some HE in the way of the Sinop. And the Sinops decided, because, well, killing us obviously wasn't that easy, they've decided to start backing up, because we've got the Odin has torpedoes. And I think the Sinop, either the Sinop knows or he just assumes I was going to go and try and ram him. But yeah, the Sinop starts backing away. He's getting a bit desperate as he's starting to turn a bit more to try and get all of his guns firing on us. And yeah, we're just soaking up the damage. we've been on 5,000-6,000 hit points for the last couple of minutes of this match now, and it just shows the strength. It's very tanky, and in a 1v1 situation, if you can bow tank and close in on the Iowa, and exactly like we're doing on the Sinop, you can, we should have been dead 25,000 damage ago. And these aren't big, powerful guns. They're not massive damage dealing weapons. We're desperately trying to knock out his guns, and we are down to just 1,400 hit points. So one more salvo from the Sinop, and that should be game over for us. But we're still trying to aim. Can we get rid of one of his turrets? Yeah, no, but at least our secondaries is starting to do a bit of damage. The Sinop, I can imagine this must be extremely infuriating for the Sinop, because when he seen us, he was absolutely full health. We had 5,000 hit points left, so this should have been an easy win for the Sinop. He should have just absolutely annihilated us, and this is where the Sinop makes a bit of a mistake, because we fired the torpedoes, but he's turning and giving us more of a target to hit with our torpedoes. And there we go, kill number 4 and 164,000 damage. And there's just one enemy ship left alive at this point, and it's a destroyer. Like, yeah, alright, we're fairly close to a Kraken, but what's the chances of us hitting a Yadachi at the absolute maximum range of our guns? As he disappears, we sling. Well, yeah, you miss every single shot you don't take, I guess. So yeah, unfortunately that was no. We're going to push into the cap, and this should be a win. We've got a cruiser, a destroyer on our team. We are located, which I find weird, because surely that destroyer is closer to the Adachi than we are. And we're just going to see if we can cap the base. And pot shot. He looks like he's going to turn, so we turn, we shoot, and kaboom! There we go. Kraken unleashed. And that was in my 3rd match in the Odin. So yeah, that is the tier 7 premium Odin, the campaign ship. And personal thoughts and opinions on it. It's a big Scharnhorst. It's versatile. You want to set fires at range. It's very good in 1v1 situations, bullying other battleships and cruisers when you catch them on their own. And yeah, I'd go for. I'd buy the campaign if you're in the position to do it without spending money on the ship. It's not the greatest ship in the world by any means, but it is very powerful, and it, like I said, it gives you those options. It's a tier 7 Scharnhorst. It's a very flexible ship indeed. So before we head off, I just want to, hopefully I'll get the credit bit rolling and sorted out, but I just want to give a massive shout out, obviously, to all of you guys who are watching, but also to our members who've been supporting the channel. So that's Bill Anthony, Stephen Britton, Larry Rowan, N9 Reborn, Will Wilson, Saberhawk, Joe Wicks, and Patrick. Thank you very much for supporting the channel as well. So I hope you did all enjoy today's video, and until next time, take care.